Hello, welcome to uARFIDwhatueat, a channel where we try to deal with some of the issues that people with avoidant restrictive food intake disorder deal with on a daily basis. My name is Chris. Today we're going to be trying a food out, and that food is bacon. Got bacon, we got bacon, we're eating some bacon. I have had bacon in the past, trying it. Like my entire life, I've always attempted to try bacon because one thing I can say about it is that it smells incredible. And every time someone makes bacon or eats bacon, I wish I could be eating it too. But every time I've tried it over the years, it's been a little too strong, a little too salty, a little too meaty, I suppose. I have very little palate for meats and fatty foods. Like one thing about a lot of meat is that there's a lot of fat in the flavor. Bacon, I think, is largely fat. That can be a bit of a challenge for me. So yeah, I can say I don't like it going into this today, but I want to try and give it a couple shots here and see what we can do. We prepared 3 bacons ahead of time. A lightly cooked bacon, a medium cooked bacon, our little Goldilocks there, and a well cooked bacon. There's a nice crisp, I can feel that already. Now the color, I do enjoy the color actually. I feel like a lot of meat looks tasty. I don't like how textured it is, I'll say that. As I look through it, I think there's all these like fatty portions. I think that's all fat, it's my understanding. And it kind of has like a bit of a leathery quality as I look at it. Feeling the texture, it's interesting, especially on these crispier pieces. Leathery is the best way I can kind of describe this, the way it looks and feels. It's nice and thin, I like that. I feel like if I'm going to like meat, it's going to have to be really thin and thin sliced portions like this. I mean, you can see right through that, which I like. It's very oily. There's a ton of oil going on here, which I don't like. I tend to hate oiliness. It's getting on my fingers though. It's one thing I don't like about meat, especially this kind of meat, is that it's so oily. I hate when I touch something and it gets stuck to my hands like this. Now I got this gross guts going on in my fingers. It smells good. It smells like bacon. What can I say? Even though I haven't historically enjoyed the taste of bacon, I've wanted the idea of that smell to taste like I imagine it does, and it usually doesn't. This more cooked one smells a little burnt to some degree, so that's a little less appealing. This one in the middle here smells nice and bacony. That's interesting to me. I don't mind that. All right, so I'm gonna go down the 3 of these here and try them out individually and give you my opinion on them. So this is the lightest cooked one here. Again, there's a lot of fat on this one. I don't know. I don't like that. Might just even peel some of that away. It's kind of yucky to me. Okay, so lightly cooked bacon. Here's bite number 1 here. Not too bad, actually. Surprised to say it doesn't really taste too bad. There's kind of a smoky quality to it. It tastes a lot like it smells, which is nice. Usually in the past I've had bacon that didn't. Maybe it was overcooked. But this lightly cooked one, you're getting a lot of the flavor there. Juicy, but not in an overpowering way. I actually do like that. That's really good. Don't like the texture as it breaks apart here. It's kind of a bit of a stringiness. The flavor, I have to say. Yeah, it's really not that bad, actually. Nice smoky flavor. Kind of tough, but not in a bad way. Just enough to have a bit of give. Yeah, I don't think I would want to eat a lot of this. It is a bit of a strong flavor. I'm going to try the second portion here, the middle section. It's a little crispier. It's a little more leathery. Oh. Okay, the flavor's a little stronger in this one. It's a little more juicy. I can taste the oil more of the fat too. Okay, that piece is a little strong for me. That one just tasted a little more meaty. I feel like that first piece I took a bite through was a little lighter. It went easier on me. I think maybe perhaps the longer you cook this, the more it begins to kind of imbue with the flavor. It's like I just want a lighter version of this. It's a lot juicier, surprisingly. I expected the opposite. I thought it would be more dried out, kind of crunchier. And while it is a little tougher, it's not drier. It's actually shockingly juicier. That's kind of gross to me. I want to take another bite here. The middle section of the middle piece. Oh, it's so oily. So oily, ew. That's yucky. I don't like oily flavors. They tend to move around in my mouth a little more. Kind of sink in on the tongue better. Which is the opposite of what I want. I want a flavor that comes and goes rather quickly. I don't want a flavor that lingers. Yeah, that's kind of gross. I'm going to go on to the extra crispy cooked part here. Again, I thought the middle section would be a little drier. I feel like in theory this piece should be drier too, but now I'm expecting it to be really juicy and meaty. I don't know what to think going into this. Oh, all I can taste now is the oil. Ah. Getting it down. This is all an accomplishment here. I'm getting pieces of this down. The middle piece and the more cooked piece, they're losing me as I go here. I didn't mind the flavor of this light piece. It had a gentle quality to it. There's a little bit of flavor to it, but it wasn't overpowered by oiliness. The more burnt it gets, the more it begins to absorb the oil, and you begin to take on some of that flavor. The only thing I'm tasting is like oil and fat, and just this meaty flavor I'm not into. Still smoky, I will say, but now it's like more like burnt smoky. Yeah, that's just a little too much for me, that burnt piece. I'll take another bite. Oh. Oh. Ah, so strong. It's too strong. The oil just floods my mouth. Even just a little bite like that just floods right into your whole mouth. All you can taste is just the bacon. I need somewhere in my mouth that doesn't get attacked by the bacon. I need just a little area that I can escape to. The light piece kind of just went down. It didn't linger, it didn't hang around. It wasn't that oily. I'm gonna try taking another bite of the lighter one. Yeah, that's not too bad. It doesn't taste like it soaked in all that oil. It's smoky, but enjoyably so. It's meaty, but not offensively so. It's not too bad. This is an interesting one today. I kind of expected to like the more cooked pieces. I figured that the more cooked it was going to be, the more it was going to just be crispy and a bit less flavorful compared to the less cooked portions. It turned out to be the opposite. The more you cook this through, the more it begins to kind of take on the flavor of just the oil and the fat, and the smoky flavor just becomes a burnt flavor. I don't like that. It's not for me. Overall thoughts on bacon then. It looks tasty. The smell is absurd. It just smells really good. Although again, the further along you go into the crispier versions of it, the more I begin to dislike that smell. For the taste, the lighter version, not too bad. It's a taste that kind of doesn't overwhelm me. Whereas the further along I went with it to the medium and to the more well done cooked versions of it, it gets overwhelming for me. All you begin to taste is that oil and fat. You can see me flicking my fingers the whole time. It's because I've got this oil all over my hands. I don't like having oil on my fingers. Most of the foods I eat are really dry and simple. I hate having this stuff all over my fingers. I don't mind the texture once it's in your mouth. It's not too bad. Chewy, but not too chewy. So yeah, final thoughts on bacon here. When it was nice and light here, for someone with ARFID, like myself, who doesn't want to be overwhelmed with flavors, it wasn't too bad. But the further along I cooked it, and the more burnt it became, the more it began to overwhelm me. I need kind of stable flavors. Flavors that are not going to overpower me and just take over the meal. And I feel like if I was eating this and I had this burnt thing here with my breakfast and I started putting that into my mouth, it's going to overpower the rest of the meal. Next time I go to a diner, maybe I'll get like some lightly cooked bacon and just have it on the side there just to try it out, kind of get a sense of it. I'll probably won't end up liking it. And that's another thing too, is if I was to keep eating these and just keep sitting here and going along, this would begin to overwhelm me. I can tell that already. This isn't a flavor I could eat much of, but this is a start. This is somewhere I can work with and build upon. Well anyways, thank you all for joining me today. My name is Chris. This is uARFIDwhatueat. I hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.